All right, shalom, shalom. First off, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Hakwadash. We're going to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel, scattered across the four corners of this earth. This is the brother Yatazakba here with
You call them off.
Kawashab.
One.
Khan, and we're from the GMS Nebraska camp. And in this lesson, what we want to get into is going over the hantavirus. You know, this is something that's been popping up in the news a lot. One of these what seems to be another pandemic, just like the C-19. And there's a lot of fear mongering that is going on with it. You know, a lot of talks about it, and we just want to cover it and go into a couple of things that we find fishy about it, because as the scriptures say, let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11 and start off.
I guess 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Right, so it says lest Satan should get an advantage of us, and we know according to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 that Esau does the bidding of Satan on earth. Esau is the physical counterpart of Satan. So right there, when it's talking about Satan, you can also attribute that to Esau. So it says, "Let Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." And his devices is talking about his crafts, his plots, his schemes. And we take the C-19 situation for example. That was obviously a pandemic. The jab that came out with it was was one of Satan's devices. A lot of people got sick from that. A lot of people passed away from that. Um, and it was to bring about uh Esau's, what's the word I'm looking for? Agenda at the end of the day. You know, with that being said, this Hanta virus is looking to be, or I'll call it the H virus, is making a lot of similarities to that last virus. For example, the brother Kawashab right before we started brought out that the meaning of that word Hanta. If you could if you can get into that, Bab Kusha.
I'm gonna share my screen here real quick. I got it pulled up. Gone. So right here, I typed in what does Hanta mean? And just kind of skipping down to option or number two, it says modern slang, Hebrew and Hungarian. Hebrew slang in everyday Israeli colloquial speech, Hanta, pronounced Kanta or Khanta, is used to dismiss something as nonsense, a scam, a hoax, or a complete lie. It is the equivalent of calling something bullshit or a load of garbage.
Yeah, so that alone, should pique a person's interest. And we understand that these Israelis are the ones who are calling the shots on the earth today, these so-called Jews. You know, and they're behind a lot of these false flag events. You know what I'm saying? These planned pandemics. Should look at 9/11 for example. And the Israeli tie to that. You know, even this C-19 thing. You had the so-called Jews who were calling the shots with that, telling these different leaders and these different the WEF and the WHO what messages to put out there, and you know what I'm saying. So look at in their own language what this word Hanta means: a load of garbage, a complete. It literally said a complete lie. You
Mhm.
know, and whether this could possibly be a situation to where there's some type of artificial way that people are being exposed to it. Because they said you had these people on the cruise ship that got exposed to the hantavirus from, they say it only comes from rat waste. And it raises the question like, who was handling a rat on this cruise ship that that got sick and got everybody else sick? So it could be, just the same way with the C-19 where they said somebody was touching a bat in China and then it spread all across the world. It could be like that. It could spread some other way, but people are actually getting sick. Who knows? Let's get where it says in Hungarian slang right there too.
Gone. In Hungarian slang, by a linguistic coincidence, Hanta in Hungarian means empty talk, exaggeration, or rubbish.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Does it say anything good there for the when it says Lakota?
Lakota, Hanta is a traditional command or directive used to mean move, move out of the way, or get out of there.
Okay, okay. So, more so harping on the Israeli one first and foremost, and then the Hungarian one as well. But, you know, um, but what we do know according to the scriptures, because it's real early with this H virus thing, and we have our eyes on it to see how this is going to develop, what's going to come out of it. But what we know according to scriptures that prophetically there will be pestilences, there will be sicknesses and diseases that's going to be spread. Baba Gashab Retazawan, if you could grab Matthew chapter 24, and I
Uh,
believe you started verse 7. Did somebody have something in the midst?
yeah, I just had a quick point, based off of what you're saying. Like you're saying, it's early, you know, and right now the way that this being put out there is pretty much we have nothing to worry about, in the sense of like just thinking about what the scriptures say when they should say peace and safety, because we
Hmm.
you know on one end they're saying that we have nothing to worry about. On the other hand, they're saying, oh well, it's not an airborne thing. It's more zoonotic, or pretty much coming like you said from rodents and things like that. So you don't have to worry about it unless it's like you're making direct contact with someone. But at the same time, it's more deadly. According to what we found out. So just want to mention that, man. That like you said, keep an eye out for it because Esau, Edom, can't trust them. It says never trust thine enemy. So
Well,
that's
yeah.
yeah, you got it though, brother.
Before we grab that Matthew, let's grab the Ephesians chapter 5.
Okay. Uh,
Because like you said, never trust thine enemy. The brother Kawashab, Salakia. Let's grab that video first. Then we'll grab the Ephesians. Then we'll go to the Matthew.
Gone.
I got that precept on.
Been ramped up very quickly in a few countries that have almost avoided the epidemic entirely, like uh, Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia. They took their experience and actually prepared, and so they moved a lot faster. So we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
Hmm.
So, that reminds me of going back to the vaccine, Melinda.
So this is all the way back in 2020, and you got Bill Gates talking about we're gonna have to get ready for the next one in the midst of the C-19, you know? And he said that this next one will really get everybody's attention. So maybe this H virus is what he's talking about the next one. But it's speculation. This is one of the things you gotta say allegedly, 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 because nothing's set in stone as of right now. But like we was about to grab, we can get to Ephesians ch
Yep,
chapter 5.
yep, I got that. It's Ephesians 5 and verse 15. It says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise,
Hmm.
redeeming the time because the days are evil."
Right. So it says walk circumspectly. That walking circumspectly is to look all about. That's why the scriptures say what? Watch and pray. It's supposed to be paying attention to the things that are going on in the news around the world. It says what? Redeeming the time because the days are evil. So we understand that, there's gonna be wicked things going on, such as, Esau pushing, pandemics out to get people sick. We understand that Esau wants to drop the population. We understand Esau wants people to be, um, what's the word I'm looking for? He wants people to be subordinate to the different, solutions that he pushes out, such as the jabs, you know, and things of the sort. And Esau will do whatever it takes for him to fulfill his plans and his agendas, even if he has to get millions and millions of people sick, you know. So it is something worth uh paying attention to. But let's get that verse 17 as well.
Yep. It says, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Right. So we have to understand what the will of the Lord is. And we know what the will of the Lord is according to what? According to the prophecies and according to the scriptures.
Yep.
So when it says to be not unwise, how do we know if we're moving wisely or unwisely? Well, going off of the prophecies, going off of the stage that we're at in these end times, that should tell us how we're supposed to be moving. If we know that we're living in evil days, the love of many is waxing cold. You know what I'm saying? People about to start seeing more attacks and people rising up against each other, then it would be a wise thing to not be going to a bunch of public settings. It'd be a wise thing to not be in a party spirit, not being locked in on these scriptures, not being locked in spiritually,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, but even as you were saying, you're saying before we turned the video on, when you was mentioning, was that First Peter? We're saying being sober and watching unto prayer. That's exactly what that is, man.
Hmm.
Just being on alert. We have to be on alert. Like another thing that you mentioned is being a watchman someone on a tower and putting that message out there, because we don't know what Esau Edom is doing, but we know what he's doing, but we don't know what he's doing. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
We like you said, he has a depopulation agenda, and he don't care how he does it. But yeah, just wanted to mention that I have that precept on the back burner if you want it. If it, but I just bring it out. I already
Huh.
mentioned it.
Huh.
First Peter 4 verse 7. It says, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye
Hmm.
therefore sober and watch unto prayer."
So how do we know the end of all things is at hand? How do we know these are the days that it's talking about? Because in Second Ezra 9:5 it says, "For like as all that's made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." That word manifest means clearly seen to the eye, is clear to see. And what makes the end clear to see? The prophecies that will come with the end.
Yeah.
And we're about to grab this Matthew here soon, which is going to talk about some end time prophecies. But it says, Baba Kushab, you can read that again.
That Peter.
Yeah.
Con. It's First Peter 4 verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer.
So it's telling us to be sober, it's to be clear minded. You know what I'm saying? Not be all over the place, knowing what time we in and moving accordingly. It says to watch unto prayer. We're supposed to be prayed up in these times because whether or not this pestilence is planned, whether it's something Esau pushing out or something natural, whatever the case may be, as we're about to grab here shortly, we understand that pestilence is going to be a thing that is in the earth in the last days. This is something that the Lord is going to be putting out here as a plague. You got natural disasters, famines, pestilences, and we're going to need protection from these things, you know? So we're supposed to constantly be prayed up that these different wiles of the devil don't overtake us, that we're not affected by these things, you know? Because people got sick from C-19. People passed away from that.
Yeah.
And this H virus, it seems like it's about to be the next big thing. And they're saying that you got people here in Nebraska that's being quarantined. you know. So that's basically like the middle of the country, so to speak, and it could just spread out from there. Who knows? But at the
Yes.
end of the day,
Because the
what you,
heartland.
yeah. So, but at the end of the day, what we do know is that we need protection from these different evils that are coming down the pipe, and it's going to take faith, to get us through these times. Because if we are of the elect, we call ourselves the hopeful elect. So as the hopeful elect, we have to be faithful. And if we are of that number, the Lord is going to protect us through whatever. If we grab Baba Gashal, let's grab Sirach chapter 33. and we'll go to Sirach 33 and 1.
God. I got Sirach 33 and 1. It says, there shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, but in temptation, even again he will deliver him.
Constantly, we gotta fear the Lord, and the elect are those who truly fear the Lord, those who are truly following after Yahweh Bashem and Yahweh Shai, and it says no evil is gonna happen unto them. So we have to believe that, and it says what? But in temptation, even again, he will deliver him. So in all these troubles and these tempting times, they're gonna be delivered. They don't got nothing to worry about. If we of the elect, our fate is already sealed. What's the elect's fate? Salvation, you know? So like I said, Esau is gonna be fear mongering with, these different well, with this specifically with the H virus, but this ain't nothing to be scared of. We gotta move with faith. Don't let these different pandemics or, whatever Esau is pushing out here, don't let that get us in a fearful state of mind. The scriptures say the Lord had not given us the spirit of fear, but of a sound mind, of power, love, and of a sound mind, you know.
Con.
I got a quick precept. Sirach chapter 2 and verse 2, it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble.
You got it, bro.
So like we're going, like the brothers mentioned, that's part of being sober and being like paying attention to what's going on, because our was it when it means to set our heart aright, that means our mind, right? Going back to the Hebrew word lob, it says, and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. This is a time of trouble. Like the brothers mentioned, the evils and pestilences and different prophecies that are coming to pass that are bringing trouble to really the known world. And us, we're supposed to be on a different vibration as far as not being so hasty to be like, I don't know what to do. We gotta get the vaccine. Like, no, we sitting back and we watching it and we reporting and we seeing how we ought to move forward.
Hmm
Like in First Peter, knowing what the will of the Lord is. If we understand the will of the Lord, we're not gonna make haste, but we're gonna be relaxed and we're gonna be calm and we're gonna know how to deal with this. But yeah, you got it, brother.
Con, and if I may, also just wanted to land back off what you're saying, brother, because yeah, they might introduce another jump shot. They might introduce the chip itself, one of the apostles was talking about that. So there's no telling what's down the pipeline. So it's definitely important to uh have a stable mind in these times. And I want to grab a precept to that. This is Isaiah 33 and 6. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure.
hmm Con. Con. It says wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times. That's the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures. And knowing what these scriptures say, uh, uh, you know, that's what's supposed to keep us stable and grounded and rooted. We know what the scriptures tell us is going to be happening, and that's why, look, like the brother just said, with the C-19 situation, you have people who call themselves Israelites that when the jab came out, they was like, we're gonna go ahead and take it. Why? Because they wasn't all the way rooted within the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures. They wasn't moving in faith at the end of the day, you know? And so they ran to Esau.
Yeah.
But nobody in GMS, we didn't make haste in time of trouble. Even though people was getting sick, people was passing away, and Esau came with a solution. What do? We trusted in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and that's what we have to continue to do. You know, this could
Exactly.
be another trial run of our faith. This could get even worse than the C-19's situation. The Lord wants to see who's gonna hold fast. Did you have something you want to bring out with that, Kawashab?
Well, you basically hit the nail on the head, like just this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. Because otherwise, people gonna bug out. They're gonna get scared. They're gonna get pressured, because it's like a high pressure sales pitch with all these news stories that's coming out. Oh yeah, we got this many cases, this many confirmed cases. That stuff was coming out day in and day out when C-19 was hitting,
Yeah,
you
and even
know.
with this situation, like from I want to say it was May 13th when we first started hearing about like the cruise ship. And every day you'll like it's like you'll see a news clipping in the morning and at night every day. Where it's like, okay, they're getting closer to boarding land. Okay, they're on land now. Oh, this is how many people got sick. Actually, it's more people. Oh yeah, we're sending them to these different countries instead of quarantining them. You know, it's like every day it was just more and more of a seeming like the situation was getting out of hand, you know. And but hey, you know, it just gotta continue to remain faithful because this ain't all that we have to worry about. It's gonna be a lot more than this. And we can grab that Matthew, you know, to get into that Bible shower Tazwan.
Was that Matthews 24 and 20, 27,
24 verse 7.
verse 7? All right, going into that Matthews 24, verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places."
Mm-hmm. Read verse 8 too.
God. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
Yeah. So this is the beginning of sorrows. This ain't even the worst of the worst. And it's talking about what? Wars, you know, nation rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines, which we're already seeing that. They're talking about famines coming due to this oil crisis, this energy crisis. You know, we're seeing famines in other countries. You know, grocery stores empty, gas stations with no gas, gas stations, no gas. You know, but you know that's something that's going to hit home here in America. These prophecies are going to hit home. It's not going to be something that we're just talking about anymore. We're seeing the prophecy starting to hit home, you know, but it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
We're going to be going to the store and nothing's going to be in the store. We're going to be seeing people getting sick close to us. We're going to be seeing natural disasters, which we're already brothers, you know, you got brothers in coastal states that's already have dealt with that, you know. So um this isn't the end all be all, you know. Prophecy is ramping up, you know, and we're getting in the thick of it. And this is the a major time, you know, if not ever, especially now and in these times to come, that our faith has to remain strong, that we have to stay prayed up and beseeching Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you know. And you know, that's basically, you know, all I had there. Any brothers have any
Yeah, I had a precept. This is this is First Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. It says, "There hath no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High Yahweh is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it." You know, and want to bring that out, you know, because you know what this is talking about. You know, first and foremost is the same temptations and things in the world that we dealt with or deal with is the same things that anybody has to deal with. It says there's no such thing as taking need, but such as common to man. So it's, you know, the same worries that people in the world that don't have the truth may have. We have the same type of worries from time to time. So we're not immune. Okay. But I bring this up in the context of like what the brother was saying. Um, this is why we have to stay prayed up too, because we're, you know, we truly believe that we are protected by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai in these times, especially if we're doing His will. All right, but at the same time, like, you know, like you mentioned, there were certain people that got sick from the C-19. You know what I'm saying? There were certain brothers that got sick from the C-19, which means what? That we all vulnerable to these things that are coming, right? But it says that the Most High will give us a way to bear it, a way to escape and to bear it, and you know, and ultimately that would be our faith and our works, because that's what it says in Second Ezra, the 9th chapter. He that is able to escape by his faith and by his works shall be preserved from the said perils. Right. So we fall into that same category, and you know, just really want to add that too, because that's very important. You know, for those of you out there that are may not know how this will affect you or how it'll affect your community. Well, we're all in the midst of this shit. You know, just one more precept, and then, you know, that'll be it for me. You know, St. John 17. Was it St. John 17? I believe, like around the 15th verse, right? Yeah, St. John 17 and verse 15. It says, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world. Matter of fact, I'll go up to 14 and get the context. It says, I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Right? Talking about the men of the Lord, all right, in this time. Right? It says, but I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. Right? So what is that saying? Like, I'm not about to pull y'all out of this. Y'all gonna have to bear it. I'm with y'all, but I'm not about to take y'all out of the world, because how we know how to deal in the days of evil, how we know how to not make haste in the time of trouble, right? How we constantly endure and have our minds set aright, you know. So just wanted to bring that out, man, because like you brought out in the scripture, this is the beginning of sorrows, and every single last one of us is going to have to face these things that are coming down the pipe, you know. But we just pray that we're protected by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, that's it on my end.
Con, anybody had anything else?
Love.
Hey, with that being said, once again, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Yahushai, I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect. Hey, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.